all eyes now, as if they haven't already been, on Old Trafford in Manchester. Eyes in the skies.
Eyes in the skies.
And of course, eyes everywhere around. That's the one, match number 22. But for many people, match number 1 that they've been looking forward to, India versus Pakistan. I know we sometimes tend to overhype it and overbuild it up. It's just another cricket match with one of the teams playing another team.
Yeah, I'm willing to accept it's more than, it's a little more than that. I can understand there's emotions running around, and the emotions have been around for many years, but it's sport. And what we discussed a little while ago about the jingoism, it's sport eventually. Maybe it's more than a cricket match because of the feelings it arouses in different parts of the world.
Emotions that are involved within that.
The emotions are out. I mean, he played a World T20 final. That would have been a tense game. In fact, the earlier game with
both were very tense games.
With the bowler, the straightest ball you ever bowled.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, and it is a high intensity game for India, and it's one that's gonna touch close to the heart, right? So I think this is my conviction that games against Australia are always going to be mental battles. Games against Pakistan are going to be emotional battles. And I think that's it. And when you perceive the Pakistan team and when you're playing against them, the perception is that, okay, I got to keep myself emotionally stable to win this game. Because if you keep as Indians, if we keep ourselves emotionally stable against, it's about who holds their nerves well in those games. But with teams like Australia, it's about who's going to beat each other mentally. Who's going to have a better day mentally on that given day. How am I not going to allow that person to get into my head, and how am I going to counter that, and better him on that day. So I think that's the kind of comparisons you can draw in this kind of a scenario. So I think it's definitely an emotional game that India is going to play tomorrow, but one that's important to win as well in the view of the tournament, with India moving forward in this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to look at those points, no matter whether people see that this is going to be the end, in a sense, the means to an end. We're happy that you beat Pakistan. What happens later won't matter, but what happens later will matter, of course, because it's 2 valuable points.
Of course, what happens later will matter, and Robin is absolutely right about the emotional state. And you've got to ask yourself, who's playing better cricket, but also which is the emotionally stronger side. Yeah. Because you're tense, of course India's tense, all of India's tense, and therefore a significant part of the world is tense. But who is more tense? And don't forget that in sport, a lot of the time sport is won by the fear in the other camp. Is the other camp tense too? Of course the other camp is tense. Are they more tense? More likely they're more tense.
Yeah.
So can you actually, if you play strong, as Robin said, then maybe the tension will lead the other side. So we look at it from an Indian perspective, and Pakistan, and a lot of the Pakistan coverage is, I mean, it makes us sound very, very polite. Yeah. But don't forget, there's a lot of tension there. So it's as much a game on the field as what they're thinking when they come onto the field. And Pakistan in recent times have been a touch more fragile.
But Robin, when you translate these emotions into performance on the field, it's one thing to say that you're going to be 80-20 perhaps in the stands, 80 blue and 20 green. But does that necessarily say that, okay, you're being raised, your performance is being raised by that 80%, or does it mean it's 80% pressure?
I promise you, when you're playing the game, you don't think of these things. You think of it as another game. Of course, there are certain emotions attached to this particular encounter, but I think as a team, they're thinking about, okay, what are my roles? What do I have to do tomorrow? How do I execute that? How do I make sure I prepare myself in a way that I can go and execute those skills extremely well tomorrow? So warm up tomorrow will be extremely important. The intensity that they maintain during their warm ups will be important to make sure that they're actually warm, and because injuries are affecting every team. Right? Everyone are pulling up with niggles, pulls, strains, tears. So making sure that you're very cognizant about your body and how it feels, and if you actually feel ready enough for the game, preparing yourself for those things will be on the top of each player's mind. And then once they get in, it's about fulfilling their roles, how best they will fulfill each of their roles. Like Rohit Sharma will go out there and say, okay, how am I going to play my role? How do I play my role? And then he'll stay true to that. The more he stays true to that, the more successful he's going to be. Similarly with everyone down that pecking order, including KL Rahul, including Virat Kohli, including MS Dhoni, including either DK or...
Good you mentioned KL Rahul as well, because your old opening partner, back to the time when you were a little younger, your old opening partner's gone. Yeah. But someone you've seen very closely growing up in Bangalore is now going to get that job as an opener.
Now for Pakistan, they've We haven't forgotten, of course we haven't. But we do conclude that in terms of the pressure, they will be feeling it as well. The tension in the camp may be more on their side than on the Indian side. But in terms of selection, Wahab Riaz was one of the talking points at the start of this World Cup. Has he done enough for you to say that it was justified?
I think the biggest plus for them is Amir. It's easily the biggest plus. If the ball starts swinging back in, he'll be a big threat. It hasn't so far, but we'll wait and see. If the ball is swinging back in, it's a weakness with Rohit. The odd day one suddenly comes in. Robin, at pace, if the ball is swinging in, it's always an issue. But I think he's the big threat. I'm not sure Wahab Riaz is as much of a threat unless the ball is reversing or whatever.
He has been bowling well.
He's bowling well.
He's bowling really well. You got to give him credit
and
for that.
It's the occasion that pumps him up. I mean, we go on about that Watson battle, but the fact is that was an occasion that pumped him up, and he likes that.
Yep.
He likes the challenge.
Yep, he does. And I think even if you remember in 2011 when they played the semi-finals in India in Mohali, he got a fifer in that game. So this, even in the way he's playing right now after his comeback into this Pakistan side, he's been playing really well, batted well for them as well. So I don't know, as in if you had to pick 3 fast bowlers, I'd pick him, Amir and Shaheen Afridi.
All left-handers.
All left-handers. It doesn't matter.
But you would
also have problems against left-handers. So
has your disappointment been Hassan Ali more than Shaheen Afridi?
Yeah. Because Hassan Ali hasn't had the greatest of the last 6 months. Not a disappointment to me personally, but I just feel that if they're looking at a change, they probably want Haris Sohail in there, maybe an extra batsman.
Would you look at Shadab?
Well, again, depends on the wicket. I think India will deal with spin
because
pretty
Pakistan
well.
would play all 4. They would play 4 quicks like they did against Australia.
Yeah.
And then use Hafiz and Shoaib Malik as...
So you're suggesting, Harsha, that this is the team?
No, I'm asking him.
I'm thinking instead of Hassan Ali, they probably want to play Haris Sohail or Imad Wasim. Imad Wasim is a decent all-rounder, bowls good left-arm spin as well. So, you kind of strengthen that batting order a little bit more when you also have bowlers to kind of do the job for you there. You have 3 fast bowlers, Imad, and you have Hafiz and Shoaib Malik. So, that gives you, 7 bowlers to bowl 50 overs. So I think that would be the way to go for them.